All right, let's just jump into some Jeskai enchantments, huh? Jeskai, for those that are new, refers to this color combination here on your screen of blue, white, and red. The more stock blue-white Lurrus enchantments deck has been running around the ladder a lot. And has been very successful. I think it's arguably one of the better linear decks in the format. So the base idea is use things like Kor Spiritdancer to generate card advantage, along with things like Curious Obsession and Staggering Insight. And then you have cheap threats like Selfless Savior and Life's Bounty to protect whichever creature you're loading up enchantments on. And then this build here is notably splashing red for some interaction, cheap interaction via Shock in the sideboard, as well as Doorrat the Perfect Pet as an additional evasive threat in the main deck. Hey, Fyron, thanks for completing the raid tutorial and checking out the sponsor. Drop me a DM to let me know if you'd like a sub gifted to the channel as a thank you for doing that. And it's a good plug at the start of this. You're watching this on YouTube in the future. Right now on Twitch, we've got a sponsor from Raid Shadow Legends through the end of the week. So if you want an easy way to support my content, download the game and play through the tutorial using my link in chat or listed below the YouTube video. If I get up to 170 installs, I get a bonus for that. So I appreciate everybody that checks out the sponsor. Let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here with this and see how it goes. Yep, that's the idea. As always, for people that are new, this, like most of the decks that we play, is a viewer submission, so I don't really have a strong opinion on whether or not this is better or worse than the straight blue-white build. This is something that someone has sent me to play, so we're going to play some games with it and try and get a feel for it, and we'll give our thoughts on it in a wrap-up segment at the end. This looks fine. Adanto and some lands. Playing a mirror match here. So they have an evasive threat that draws them cards. We have something that they're going to be able to jump block, which is a little unfortunate. We'll be able to make it large with like glitters and solid footing here, but definitely a little bit behind here, I think, with them having card draw and evasion. The mirror here could be a place where having access to cheap removal like Shock's a big deal. Man, solid footing is really not good with Adanto Vanguard, huh? I guess I do this. Does this? It makes it similarly large, but gives it vigilance. It assigns equal to its toughness rather than its attack. So, wait. Oh, as long as it has vigilance, never mind. That's fine. Brain did words wrong. What are we cutting? I don't think we can cut threats. Probably just some of the enchantments. It's a little bit of both. Vanguard doesn't seem particularly stellar. Opponent's deck's likely to have Baffling End post board. Dispute is great, right? Why? Why is Dispute great? What am I cutting for Dispute? Why am I cutting that? Links are enabled in chat. Act like an adult, you'll be treated like an adult. Act like a child, you'll be treated like a child. I think we should play Baffling End. I think if you think Baffling End is better than Shock, we probably shouldn't have a red splash. And there might be an okay argument for that, but we're gonna play some games and try and get a feel. Is Demonic Pact confirmed coming in AHK? I don't believe we currently have one of those decks in the queue, no. Yeah, our deck at its core is a linear deck that needs the right mix of enchantments and creatures. So every piece that we board into our deck that doesn't forward our core game plan comes at a real cost. Thoughts on Pact of Negation to Historic? I think it's probably a bad addition. Pact of Negation tends to be a card that's either unplayable or like frustratingly good, and there doesn't tend to be a lot of middle ground with it. So I think Pact of Negation is a good example of a low upside, high potential downside addition to the format. Thank you for the 12 months, Jameson. I appreciate the entire year. Welcome back. Baffling End, showing one of the reasons why it's potentially better than Shock here. Being able to exile my thing. I think I'm giving the lifelink one. Lifelink one, +1/+1 here. Alright, so we're gonna sacrifice this. So that way it goes to the bin for Lurrus at least. Opponent being the one both games who has the Curious Obsession style effect has been... It's been a little rough. Hopefully we can dodge the third Baffling End here and keep Lurrus alive. Although they knew we had Lurrus in hand when they played that second one, so like I wouldn't be super surprised if they have a third. They're also drawing lots of cards here every turn. It seems pretty good. Now, Arcane Flight's gonna let us jump something up, and then we can start blocking this at least. But this only gives protection. I guess I could block and give it indestructible is the plan here. So you get in one good hit here. Baffling End seems much better with the enchantment themes. I mean, it powers up exactly all that glitters. I feel like we're ahead at the moment. Like, I get to go ahead and attack with Lurrus and gain some life back here, potentially. Or at the very least, like, clear out some of their Selfless Saviors. Like, we get to go Bounty, recast Arcane Flight here, play out the Triome. And then, like, Doggo can keep this alive while we block Ornithopter. And I have my other life's bounty here to protect extra in case anything goes wrong. And then whenever I do sacrifice this turn, we can recast with Lurrus next turn. I never updated the stream title. Come on, chat, you're slacking. You're supposed to poke me when I'm lazy. It says vigilance now, so we can't really attack into it. I basically just need to draw... I basically need to draw my own way to get bigger than them at this point, right? We're basically at an impasse. Because this can't give protection from colorless, so I can't attack through the Ornithopter in the air. Huh. Do I need something for the raid sponsorship? I click the link and it doesn't open on your end. Make sure you're on desktop, Blue Vader. That's probably the game, right? Really felt the difference in Shock versus Baffling End in that game there, right? Like if we have Baffling End there instead of the Shock, we get to exile their thing. Thanks to 11 months, Femi. Someone timed them out quickly and I missed it. They did ask to be timed out, I suppose, though, too. First card reveal for Runeterra sets tomorrow. Oh, sweet. I think this is a mulligan. We're on the draw, and I think on the draw I just can't afford to keep a hand that doesn't make a play till turn 3 in my aggro deck. And then, like, this hand has a wrong half problem. We have, like, all enchantments. We have no creatures. This hand also has a wrong half problem, but we're at 5 cards, so we're going to keep it. Alright, so now we drew a threat, but I think we wait a turn on this because they're playing red aggro. Hey, Barth, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. I appreciate that. So I think we just take our licks for a turn and we play our tapped land and then we plan to play Kor Spiritdancer and immediately put an enchantment on it. Rule Land, thanks for the 6 months. I appreciate that. Someone asked if I was getting a Runeterra preview. I'm not legally allowed to disclose if I am, but I'm not going to say that I'm not. Mavid, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks, Nut Voice. This has flash, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just pass here. They'll try and kill this. We'll flash in solid footing in response to protect it. That's super unfortunate. We do at least get a cantrip out of it, and they spent 2 burn spells on her, but, like, we don't have another threat now, so we're in a bit of trouble. And I think I want access to 5 mana next turn, so I'll put this into play tapped. Probably go Lurrus into recast. Into recast Kor next turn. Ooh, that's scary. Alright, so what's the play here? I think we just Voltron up Lurrus, right? I think is the play. Yeah, I think it's Lurrus double aura here. Like, hope not to die to burn spells off the top. Brick! 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 Feels magic, man. Feels magic, man. Tank, lethal burn spell. Feels mono red specifically. Probably shocks in, Vanguard's out, I would imagine. Going down to 14 threats is just so low, though. Maybe I leave in 2 of these and we trim the Arcane Flights. Yeah, I don't think I want to go lower than 16 creatures. I mean, to be fair, like, you know, you never know what other people are doing. They're likely playing while distracted, right? Is the answer that happens a lot of the time, I think. God, Arctic, like, this matchup feels like it has some weird tension to it, because, like, obviously getting a big lifelinker against them is very good for us. However, on the flip side, their Goblin Chain Whirlers actually line up incredibly well into, like, what a lot of our decks are doing. Hey, the Doji, thank you for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. They can't quite Chain Whirler me yet, so I think we're going to get Adanto Vanguard down here. Adanto Vanguard's a great card to get Staggering Insight onto. So it can protect itself and then gain back the life that it used to protect itself. Then we're going to wait to play Kor Spiritdancer until we can ideally draw a card with it right away. Yikes. Yikes. Protection is a fun and interesting mechanic that generates stimulating gameplay for all parties. Alright, where's my perfect pet at, chat? One of your finest perfect pets, please. We get to go cat into Life's Bounty next turn, which is nice. Wow, really surprised they attacked there. Gosh, with that play, how do we feel about Staggering Insight plus all that glitters attack? I think that's the play now. We'll wait to play our land in case they let us connect. And if they let us connect, we draw a card. We can get a 1-drop to play out. And then next turn, Lurrus is going to let us replay Life's Bounty, which will let us give this protection from red down the line, which is nice. Opponent correctly leaving Unchained Berserker back here since it's per red. Beast Nutter. So, do I cash in Life's Bounty to smack them for 6 here and draw a card? I could theoretically hold the Life's Bounty till next turn, but I think there's a very good chance that my opponent kills the Life's Bounty on their next turn, and then I won't have this to give pro red. So I think I want to just, like, get my hit in and draw my card here. What grants lifelink? Staggering Insight grants lifelink. Attack with Grim Lavamancer bodes well for us. So I can be able to hold that up next turn. So we can go Spiritdancer into all that glitters on Spiritdancer. This was a great draw. And then unfortunately here, they get to just Grim Lavamancer my Kor next turn. With Unchained Berserker coming in, I boarded out my flying enchantment for this game. We're definitely going to board that back in if we get a game 3. Nailed it, chat. Nailed it. Hey, look at that. We were talking about Baffling End versus Shock, chat. That looks like a solid +1 for Shock. Okay, we've got some tracks of land, but like we have Adanto Voltron tier, so we're doing okay. Feel like I need to reassess how I sideboarded though, huh? Like, I boarded out Adantos, and I boarded out my flying enchantments, and both of those feel wrong, seeing how that game played out. Definitely think Flight's better than Footing after that game. I don't know. Having a thing that's just hard for them to kill is really valuable. This is just like tough for them to take off the board. I guess especially on the draw, it's a pretty big liability. Less Dorat, more Adanto. I don't know. Dorat is like good against their protection from White Thing that blocks, right? I'm gonna run it back. I'm gonna bring the flights back in. I'm gonna only leave 2 Adanto. We'll see how that feels. Hey, Blue Vader, thanks for completing the raid tutorial and checking out the sponsor. Drop me a DM to let me know if you'd like a sub gift to the channel or to bump something in the queue. I appreciate it. Hands a little slow and painful, but that describes most of our hands with this deck. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Fern. That's one of my favorite Runeterra decks at the moment for sure. So, I'm pretty sure I play Naked Spiritdancer out here because Spiritdancer is less important than Dorat. So if they wanna kill the Kor, that's fine. Then next turn I can go Dorat plus put an enchantment on it. Huh? Okay. So we're in an okay spot here. The problem is our lands have dealt so much damage to us. Like I've done 4 damage to myself. Like if I was at 12 right now, we'd be in a pretty good spot. But the fact that I'm at 8 means we're pretty far behind. Yeah, I need Staggering Insight real bad. Okay, this was an okay draw. So I think I Dorat into Arcane Flight, hold shock. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. If I attack for 8, they go to 12. And then if I hit an okay string... If I hit an okay string of enchantments next turn, we could kill them from 12, right? Like I'd need 2 enchantments in a row. Think I just do this and hope they can't kill me from 4. I die if I swing. Alright, I'm gonna need you to calm down, Twitch chat. This has menace regardless, chat. People that are telling me I need to hold back blockers, I can't block. Please read the cards that are in play. Thanks. I guess I could theoretically double block, but I was expecting them to attack with everything there. You block the other thing with Dorat. I don't want to trade my Dorat for their threat when I have the shock in my hand. Why would I want to trade Dorat for their 3/1? Please explain. Nailed it. I'm just trying to explain their point of view. Sure, so you're telling me why I can take, you're telling me a bad line I could take, but again, I understand that there's a line. I'm asking you why that line is good. Like, Magic, there's lots of permutations at lots of points. The thing that's meaningful is to discuss the ones that's good and why they're good. It's how you gotta sort down through the noise and narrow it down to what's potentially optimal and why. You are correct, Prayer Waits. The series of cards that we drew meant we had lethal regardless. I think we mulligan again just because of the land, which, like, this is, like, a real cost, right? Like, imagine we're just playing blue-white and this is a basic plains. If this is a basic plains, this hand is probably keepable, especially on the draw. But I think, like, my aggro deck having a bunch of tap lands, I just can't keep that. Hey, Anna, thanks for the 2 months. You'll get an email back about any decks you submitted today, this evening, once I get a chance to peek at everything. Doggo into Kor Spiritdancer is a pretty good opener. I think we keep all that glitters because it's a little bit more powerful enchantment overall. Blue-red search for Azcanta. Some kind of control deck. Grixis, got it. So if they have the even odd exile spell, we can we're gonna get got a little bit, but otherwise potentially okay. I think the optimal play here is deploy Adanto Vanguard rather than continuing to build up a Spiritdancer that I no longer have protection for. I don't know, Obo. I've played a total of 3 matches with this deck, and that's something that we're discussing and trying to get a feel for. The real answer is, at the end of it all, you know, the amount of games that I play here aren't really statistically significant, all things considered. So a lot of it is more gut feelings than data-driven. Did not draw the land I was hoping to draw there, but we do at least get to stick Dorat and hit their Nicol Bolas. Yeah, the fact that Dorat's a haste threat to pressure their Planeswalker off without having to commit 3 damage from our Adanto is nice. They have like a Fabled Passage here, they could escape Kroxa. I think I'd rather keep Staggering Insight here. I think. Or some of your all-time favorite Magic decks? I believe I'm legally obligated to respond with Kiki Chord to that question. I am a sucker for the card Spellstutter Sprite and Restoration Angel. That's for sure. Cry gets us here, sure. Glissa. Calling the Glissa deck vintage Hoagland is appropriate. It's like way far back. So we're 1 point of damage off lethal. Like, literally any castable non-creature spell in our deck would have killed them this turn. I think we still just do this and smack them to 1. Let's just draw a card. Sure. Let's do it. Your move, Yugi boy. This is all we get. Don't play the even odd exile card, please. Thank you. Yeah, all my old modern deck pages technically still exist on my website, but they're not linked in the navigation category anymore. Extinction Event. That's what that one's called. I knew that. I was just testing you. What disruption do we want here? Do we want Dispute and or Stroke? And again, you can only board in so many of these effects because our deck needs a critical density to a critical density of enchantments and creatures to mix. I think Arcane Flight may be out. We'll board in a couple of disputes. This countering Nickel bosses for 1 mana is a big deal. It costs 3 mana to counter a sweeper, but I think the efficiency on countering their blue spells makes it worthwhile. I think Vanguard might be one of our single best cards in the matchup, so I think I'm going to keep a hand that's a little bit weak on the back of that card, especially one that has all 3 of our colors of mana in it. You rather have Flight over Solid Footing? I like that Solid Footing is an instant speed card. I feel like that adds a lot of value to it. They could still disfigure us here. Or Grasp of Darkness. Negate, sure. Let's be honest, Negate wasn't one I had in my mind to play around. Perhaps I'm supposed to lead on all that glitters there to try and bait that. Alright, to quote Twisted Fate, I'm all in. Your move, Yugi boy, this is all I got. Dear opponent, please don't let there be an extinction event in my future. It's the one thing I asked you not to do, opponent. It's the one thing we explicitly requested not to happen. We're gonna hold on to the land here because they can escape Crocs the next turn. We're actually wrapping on Raid today, Bardic. So we'll be back with Runeterra stuff tomorrow. We might take a peek at it at the very end of the raid segment, but that's not going to be till 4 o'clock. Easy come, easy go, chat. So we get to play the next game on the play. Okay, I think I'm happy with how we boarded. Just try and fade the extinction event this time through. Cross your fingers, clench your butt cheeks, and hope they don't have it, chat. A tried and true Magic the Gathering strategy. Sure. See if you're into Spiritdancer is a good one too. Are there riots near my home? No. There really wasn't a whole lot of rioting in the US as a whole. There were peaceful protests in a significant amount of the country, and there still are some occurring in parts of the country. And in many of the places where those peaceful protests turns into riot was in large part due to police escalation or federal agent escalation, thanks to the old orange fascist in the White House. Is that lethal? That's pretty close to lethal, right? Feels lethal. Let's find out. Was that turn 3? What turn was that? Was that turn 4? I don't know. I'll ask Scout. I think it was 4. Was it turn 3? No, it's turn 4, right? Because we were on the play. It was turn 4 we missed a land drop. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought I was turn 4, because we were on the play that game, right? They had 3 lands. You think it was good for them, chat? It was good for me. I got there. It was turn 7, they got 3 turns. That's true. I took 4 turns, they took 3 turns. 4 plus 3 is 7. Good call. You forgot 3 turns of mulliganing. This hand's really good. One of your finest lifelinks, please. I appreciate how honest you are about politics. Thanks. If more people took the time to call out bad faith political actors, we'd have fewer of them in the country. This is a really good draw. Get to go ahead and suit this right on up here. I think I'm just stacking all of these on here just for max lifelink. And then next turn we could give it pro red and hit and draw a bunch of cards, I think is the plan here. If you they were goblins, you think you'd play out Dorat instead of Adanto? Yeah, I think so, but basic mountain on 1, I think you're supposed to hedge mono red. I don't think it really matters. Like, I don't think they can beat Adanto just gaining a bunch of life each turn. Is what it comes down to. I mean, let's be honest. They weren't winning with that ringleader anyways, right? With that having vigilance and having Iliad there to protect it. They could have drawn 4 Muxus there and probably still lost. I feel like I have like 2 board slots to bring in here. Like I think I ship the solid footings and I bring in, I think Cage is probably the best. I think we don't really have time to recast things with Lurrus anyways. I think we're just going to trim the 2 solid footings, bring in the 2 Cage, click submit. Cage turns off their 2-drop, casting goblins off the top of their deck too, so it really just shuts off all their card advantage. It does stop our Lurrus from recasting things too, but I think that's a worthwhile exchange overall. Again, hand's good, but mana is painful. think in this matchup, I'm just supposed to YOLO the Spiritdancer. The odds of them killing the Spiritdancer here are usually pretty low. They need Gem Palm or Shock or something. He says before his Spiritdancer dies. Just like we drew it up, chat. We played out the first one because we knew the second one was coming, clearly. Have a good one, Gomez. Do cycling lands get played over scry lands? It depends on your deck. So, cycling lands are better late, scry lands are better early, is generally the rule of thumb. No, I don't think so, Kerwan. Like, with Krenko rolled up in their hand as well here, they've got so... With Krenko rolled up in their hand, they've got so much, what's it called already? They've got, so much potential to deal damage. Huge mistake here from the opponent. They should have sacrificed their Goblin to skirt Prospector to prevent me from gaining 12 there. Nice, Nib. Sweet. Okay, so they're not just dead, but they're probably pretty close to it. Depends on what we draw here. Is this lethal? This might be lethal, actually. It's +6. So if we drew another one, they were dead. Do we hit diamond, chat? Yay! The loving embrace of the Diamond 4 rank floor. We are out of sub-only mode. I'm plugging the raid sponsor for non-subs this week, and I want them to be able to use the command. If you're a non-sub or a sub and you want an easy way to support my content, download raid on your PC using the link and play through the tutorial. As a thank you for that, if you're a non-sub, I will gift you a sub to the channel, so you can chat for the next month and pop in the subs Discord. If you're already a sub to the channel, you can bump a deck in the queue as a thank you. If we get to 170 installs for that, I get a bonus, so I appreciate everybody who checks them out. Yes, and if you're a non-sub who's afraid of your newfound powers of speech at the moment, feel free to ask a mod. They're happy to assist you with 10 minutes of silence. They live to serve. How's the new kid? Haley's great. Happy and healthy. It did, Chris. Thank you. Drop me a DM to let me know what you'd like as a thank you. Oh, the mana. Just again, like, if these were plains, I'd probably snap this off, but because, like, these are tapped lands, yeah, the buddy lands have been super rough so far in this set. I think I'm gonna keep this, but yeah, I don't know. Like I think the core of this archetype, the blue-white enchantments deck, and I've said this as we played against it over the last little bit, the last week. I think this is one of the better archetypes in this format currently, as far as like linear decks go. But the red splash so far, the awkwardness of the mana alone has not really felt proportional to the payoff that we're getting from it. I genuinely enjoy Raid as a game leader. And if you hang out, we're going to play Raid at the end of the stream today. You'll be able to see my account is fairly stacked. So if you do enjoy it as a game after trying the tutorial, make sure you pop in the subs Discord too. We've got a bunch of us in there in the raid channel. There's lots of channels in the subs Discord server, but the raid channel has a bunch of us that play a lot. I'll help people out if you want suggestions. Oh, Thief of Sanity. Yep. So this is an oldie but a goodie. Looks at the top 3 cards of our deck. They get to draw one of them, and they can cast it, spending mana as though or mana of any color. Coco at Historic's going to be huge. Really looking forward to Collected Company. Between 3-mana Teferi being banned and Collected Company being added to the format, I think small creature decks are going to get a power level boost that they really need. Really looking forward to that addition. Both Merfolk and Spirits up on my website right now are definitely going to play Collected Company. I will be spending time tonight, tomorrow night, and Wednesday night updating all of the historic decks on my website with cards from Amonkhet Remastered that I think they should be playing. I will definitely be tweeting as I do that. I think we're dead at this point. Just a little bit too slow here. These are going to run us down. This is probably a shock matchup. My go-to for boarding with this deck has mostly been like trimming 2 of these and bringing in 2 of whatever seems good out of the sideboard. And your deck's fairly linear like ours. Less is more tends to be a good strategy. Where can you see this? A full leaked list of AHK cards is posted on Magic Arena subreddit here. Yeah, I agree, Zephyr. Like, not only, like, what Historic looks like today and what Historic looks like at the end of the year is going to be very, very different. Yeah, I would love to play Elves with AHK. Collected Company is a card that archetype really felt like it was missing. I have not read the Runeterra news yet, but I saw some people say that we're getting some more details about the set. That's sweet. Someone said they confirmed that we are going to have a August 26th release date for that. When does registration for the Hoaglandia Open end? A half hour before it starts Saturday morning. I'm also not really expecting that event to fill since we added an entry fee. We didn't cap out on it instantaneously, which is nice. That's rough. Elves go boom. Thanks for the Biddy's Fox. I appreciate that. Thursday and Friday, we're going to play at least 3 historic decks on each day when we have AHK cards to add to them. If we have decent viewer counts on those days, I'll probably go a little bit longer, maybe add a 4th, but I'm going to play that by ear more than anything. We are getting Hallowed one. Hey, Orlees, thanks for the 3rd of a year. I appreciate it. Welcome back. I'm going to be honest. As long as we have at least, say, let's set an arbitrary number for my mind. So long as we have at least 64 people or so for the Hoaglandia Opens, I'm going to leave the entry fee. The tournament having fewer people in it means the tournament as a whole goes faster. And the point of the tournament is, like, I don't make money off the entry fees, right? I'm just trying to make content. And having a tournament that lasts 1 round less as a net positive for me and the people producing it on our minimal budget is better for us. Basically just did a removal spell here. Banjo! Thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Think I'm holding this to cycle. Just to be clear, this open is this Sunday. I might have said Saturday. I'm still not used to the different day of the week. The open is definitely Sunday the 16th. Am I done with standard until rotation? I'm done with standard till after the open. And then even then, it depends. If my historic deck queue is staying full at $25 submissions, I'm probably gonna ignore standard till rotation. So basically, if you want standard, stop sending me money to play historic. Historic's likely only going to get better as the card pool gets deeper. So Blur's Day, March 156. What day is today? COVIDdate.net says it is currently Blur's Day, March 150th. So yeah, the 16th would be Blur's Day 156th. Also, like, as a comparison, Zookicks, when we didn't have an entry fee, and I mentioned this, we had close to half the number of people that signed up in advance. New user 111, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor, I appreciate that. We had close to half the people who signed up in advance drop the tournament within the last few days beforehand. And ultimately, even though we filled to 256 people, the like 3 weeks out, we only had barely 200 playing without an entry fee. So I'd rather have some. I'd rather the people that are able to actually play be able to actually play rather than people getting pushed out by people that just like might play. Yeah, for this last tournament, we had 2 people that signed up not show up and play. For the last one that had an entry fee. And like the last one with only 100 people in it, I think we did. Sure, Wargy, but that still adds inconsistency, right? Like people can't know that they're gonna get a waitlist spot. Because if like I have 2,237 subscribers now, right? So like there's probably 256 people who are already subbed who, like, if we announce an event with no entry fee are like, oh, I might play in that. I might as well click sign up right now because it doesn't cost me anything to sign up, right? And, like, I don't fault people for doing that. It makes sense that that's what people would do. I should have played my land here. If I get Brazen Borrowed, I'm going to be sad. It also lets us give prizes to more people too. Like when we have no entry fee, I could only give Cool Stuff Inc. store credit to people that got 7 match wins. Whereas with the entry fee, everybody that got 5 match wins got prizes at the last one, which was great, I think. Yeah, right now, so for the last one, we had like 40 people signed up until a couple days before, and then the last couple of days we like doubled the number of entrants, which is fine. This can protect enchantments. I did not feel like it was worth protecting there. Yeah, I'm gonna look at that stuff eventually, X. Probably at the end of the raid segment. Yeah, the borrowers can't block, so I don't really care if they play them out. I just want to keep as many of my cheap threats in play as possible, and keeping Iliad in play. Pump makes all that glitters. Pumps more, which is appealing. Alright, so this is definitely a shock matchup, right? Is it a dispute matchup? So, like, I feel like I have to ask myself the question, how interactive do I want to be, right? Like, again, my deck is the linear deck at its core, so how much do I want to pivot off of my core game plan to be interactive against theirs? I probably want to pivot more when I'm on the draw, right? I feel like it's probably the case. Being more interactive on the draw is ideal. I don't think I want to go under 16 threats, though. This is also down to only 15 enchant creatures. Let's try this. Sure. That's a good question, Juke. I don't know. It's been a while since we played that other one. We haven't really played that one since I took, we hadn't really played that one since I took the, what's it called? Since Lurrus got nerfed. So you want to let this resolve, and then after it resolves, before they untap, we'll shock this. If you kill the mutate target in response to them mutating, they get the mutate creature coming into play, is the way mutate works, for those that aren't familiar with that rules interaction. So definitely want to let that resolve first. I'm going to Iliad hold up dispute here, I think. Nah, the logistics of doing stuff like that is just not good, Prey Waits. I don't know. Like I said, at the end of the day, if the tournament doesn't have 256 people in it, I don't care. Like, I just want enough people to join the tournament. I just want enough people to join the tournament that we can get, you know, 6 or 7 rounds of coverage out of it. Like, I'm not Star City Games, I'm not Channel Fireball, I'm not trying to make money off of entry fees here. Like, of the $6 entry fee, $1 is going to MTG Melee and $5 is going to Cool Stuff Inc. $0 of it touches my accounts. I don't have to deal with any of the tax nonsense surrounding it. Nice, MD. Congrats. Deck's a lot of fun. Yeah, this is the worry. They get to Curious Obsession here now. My Mystic Dispute's just drawing dead at this point. Really want a third land so we can, like, play a threat plus hold Dispute up. The Skull Stuff Inc. provides support beyond the prize pool. I mean, they pay me a small amount of money every month to be on my banner roll. Oh, Magic. I think we're dead at this point. Resource variance is fun, chat. It's engaging and highly skill testing. Like, maybe the Staggering Insight will resolve and we'll be able to gain some lifelink and race here. That's like a big if. We kept a 2-lander, right? And then I can see when they counterspell this. Game 3 on the play, chat. The TCG player's motto. Let's do it. We were in a very good spot when we got to shock 2 for 1 them on 2 and then just saw a third land and died. Sure. That's a great draw. So next turn, we'll get to go... You know, Life's Bounty is actually kind of awkward here with these enchantments because Pro Blue makes them fall off. So you've been playing Magic for so many years, does it feel repetitive? Not at all. In fact, that's the big appeal to these types of games over something like, say, a first-person shooter, is that Magic is what I like to refer to as a lifestyle game. It's not a game where you just, like, play it and then the same thing happens every time. Ideally, that's not the case. You could definitely make a reasonable argument that every time Magic releases a new set, it's fundamentally a new game. You can easily make the argument that every different format within Magic is a different game within Magic. If they don't have another bounce spell here, this dispute can hopefully keep our Doran alive. Start with this, see what they do. That's very true. Magic frequently feels different every couple months. Sometimes it's good. That's a good thing. Sometimes it's a not so good thing. Bye, friends. A lot of 2019, 2020 was in a not so good way. Chazpur, thanks for the 8 months. I appreciate 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. I'd like to answer your question with a question, Joe Fails Gaming. If Pioneer and Joe Fails Gaming asks, if Pioneer and Historic are both on Arena, will Historic die out? I don't know, did Legacy die out when they added Modern? Did Modern die out when they added Pioneer? Again, the thing that keeps Magic fresh for so years, going back to the question that someone asked a second ago, was Magic's a great game because all these different formats should have unique feels and textures to them, which makes them fundamentally different. I personally think it's awesome that we're going to have multiple different formats here on Arena that, well, we're going to have multiple different formats here on Arena that are non-rotating formats. Imagine Standard sucks and you don't just have Historic to play, right? Okay, Standard sucks, we still have 2 different Magic formats that we can enjoy and play on Arena. Like, that sounds awesome. Variety is the spice of life. Having a variety of play modes is one of Magic's greatest strengths. And bringing those strengths to Arena by having multiple non-rotating formats on the platform is phenomenal. It is everything I've wanted out of Arena. What is that attack? That's either a misclick or I've lost this game and I'm attacking click. Introduce your Pioneer and Arena, just the usual chat. Again, Pioneer is definitely coming to Arena. It's a matter of when, not if. Yeah, that too. With how many cards we have different from Pioneer. And it's not even just Historic anthologies and Jumpstart cards that will differentiate Historic from Pioneer. But also think about Teferi and Reclamation and Agent of Treachery and Fires of Invention. All of those cards are Pioneer legal currently. Field of the Dead, Historic legal, but not Pioneer legal. Like, all of these differences are important to know. Yeah, Winota is legal in Pioneer. They have not talked about that yet, Pyle. I'll be interested to see what they do with that overall. Last time we played this, I just cut 2 solid footings for 2 cages and clicked submit, which I think is what we're doing again. Less is more when you're playing your aggressive deck usually. I believe Winota finished in the top 16 of the Pioneer event last weekend. If I recall correctly. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like, the Arena team is taking the rest of this year off of doing Historic anthologies, but Historic Anthology 4 was mentioned as something that they plan to have happen in 2021. So, like, we're going to continue getting Historic anthologies that add cards to this client even after we get Pioneer stuff into here. I have not, Kyle. Yeah, specifically Q1 2021. Yeah, and I understand them not dropping another anthology this year with Amen Kent Remastered and Pioneer Masters coming out. I shocked in this land so I could hold up Life's Bounty to protect my perfect pet here. Hopefully we don't die to a Muxus. To get my lifelink and my card draw in here. They're probably spending the maximum amount of their time and energy porting Arena to mobile. God, I hope not. I feel like there's a 0% chance this game ever ports successfully to mobile. Feels like a real huge pile of wasted effort. Like, not only is the game itself, like, super laggy and needs, like, a ton of performance optimizations, but, like, it, like, also assuredly needs, like, an interface redesign or special formats. Land. Untapped land. Nailed it. Dear opponent, please don't kill me. We're at 20, they get to Muxus us. Go. Muxus me harder, daddy. Yeah, there's a lot of genuinely good cards in that set. Alright, Barrick. Yeah, need to fade War Chiefs and Chieftains, right? Need them to not have a haste creature here. Alright, and they found a Matron, so that'll give them a haster. Not bad for considering how long we were stuck on lands. Gonna run it back on the play here. I didn't play those creatures out to block Muxus, because if I played creatures out to block, I wouldn't have life-linked up, and if I didn't life-link up, I was going to die even if I blocked Muxus. The only reason I gained life back up to 20 was because I attacked for 11 with lifelink, and I only attacked for 11 with lifelink because I played 2 enchant creatures that turn. Who do I want Biden to pick for VP? I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a specific person in mind, but I'd prefer not a former cop or prosecutor. I think someone like Duckworth with military background would be fine, but I think ideally at this moment in history, he would not have someone who has previously worked in the criminal justice system on his ticket. Duckworth would be fine. Warren would be fine. I've seen a couple of other names thrown around. They were like, yeah, that's fine. But, like, I think Kamala Harris, and there was a congresswoman out of Florida who was previously a police officer. I think either of them would probably not be great picks because of their... I think picking someone who has criminal justice experience at this current moment in history would not be ideal. I think it would be incredibly tone deaf. All right, what am I playing here? So if I play Kor Spiritdancer, they can't cycle Gem Palm and kill it, which I think is appealing. We just get to Vulture on this ASAP. What are my thoughts on Susan Rice? I'm going to be honest, I don't know who that is. I think I'm casting this, hoping to draw a blue source and then sticking Staggering Insight. That will also do. Yeah, I think we're gonna shift over to Raid for the rest of the stream after this one. Okie doke, hit me dealer, turn 3 Muxus. Survey says, nailed it. Are they dead? This is +5. So I think we just Staggering Insight to gain a bunch of life here. Seem like games like, honestly, I think games like this are also a reason to just ban Muxus. Like, Muxus just doesn't create good gameplay. Like, to have this be the experience as the opponent, like, it's just such poop, right? Like, sometimes your Muxus, you cast it, and the game ends on the spot, and other times you cast it, it just doesn't do anything. It ends on the spot in the other direction. Like, I don't know that you could necessarily need to ban Muxus based on power level, but I think in terms of quality of gameplay, it would be a fine card to get rid of. Yeah, Muxus is basically never creates a pleasant play experience for both people. It always leaves someone feeling cheated. When you whiff with your Muxus, you feel cheated, and when they whiff, or when they hit the nuts with their Muxus, you feel cheated. Hey, Komanuk, thank you for, oh, you didn't finish it, just signed up. Minek, thanks for 17 months. At any rate, this deck, my assessment of the core engine of the blue-white enchantments deck being one of the best decks in the format, I feel like after playing this, I still believe that to be true. This deck is just incredibly linear and powerful, and honestly, going back to what we talked about earlier in this set, like, what's the point of Historic versus Pioneer? This card's not Pioneer legal, right? So, like, a deck like this, because this was added via Jumpstart to Historic, is possible here, but even once Pioneer fills out, this card won't exist there. And this is another, like, unique style deck that's very good in this format that won't be coming to Pioneer. Muxus is also not Pioneer legal, that's correct. But as a whole, I think the red splash was probably not worthwhile. And honestly, the big reason why I think it wasn't was because of the mana base. The number of hands that we had during that set that we had to mulligan or we kept, and they were just mediocre after we kept because there were a ton of Clifftop Retreats and Glacial Fortresses in them. I think that it was just too clunky and it made our aggro deck too inconsistent. I actually really disagree with that take. I think cards like Lightning Bolt, Path to Exile, and Counterspell specifically suck, and they should stay the hell off of Arena, and they should stay out of Historic. I think putting interesting threats into Historic is sweet. I think cards like Spiritdancer are great additions. I think, if we could get like Huntmaster of the Fells and Liliana of the Veil and like Snapcaster Mage, things like that could be cool. But I think very generic, powerful answers make the format more narrow, and they do a disservice to it more than they do good. Varieties of threats make for more decks to be playable. Busted answers make less things playable. So I think the less bolts and paths and counter spells we have in the format, the better off it is on average a lot of the time. Burgerb, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Sure. I think Stoneforge Mystic would be fine, honestly. I think Stoneforge Mystic, like, you could put, if they wanted to do an anthology, and the anthology was like Stoneforge Mystic and all the swords, I think that would be awesome. Just like a Stoneforge Mystic format with no Batterskull. I think that would be great. I would love to see that. Hello, lovely wife.
Came down here to check on your middle child because I haven't seen him in a while.
He's asleep. That explains why I hadn't seen him. All right, so that's going to wrap up for our Magic